There we are. Good evening and welcome to the Thursday, June 20th regular meeting of the Novi Board of Education. I would entertain a roll call vote. Mr. Hanna?
Trustee Cook?
Here.
Trustee Hood?
Here.
Trustee Mena here. Trustee Murphy?
Here.
Trustee Roney?
Here.
Trustee Ruskin?
Here.
Trustee Smith?
Here.
Right. If you would all please rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So the first item on our agenda this evening, and thank you for being here with us, is a public hearing on the 2019-20 budget. We do this every year, and so I will just, do I need to read it? I guess I do. The state requires all school districts to adopt a budget for the upcoming fiscal year by June 30th. The process of adoption includes a notice for a budget public hearing, which must appear in the local newspaper at least 6 days prior to the hearing, and that the budget document, including the proposed property tax millage rate, must be available for public inspection. The public hearing on the budget and the property tax millage rate proposed to be levied to support the proposed budget must then take place, and then the board adopts the budget. This year, that public hearing is scheduled for this evening at this regular meeting. So the hearing is now open. If anyone would like to speak about the budget, which has been available in our office this past week, please feel free to approach the podium and speak about the budget. All right. Seeing no one, the hearing is closed. Moving on, I would first entertain a motion to approve our agenda this evening. We don't have any need for any changes.
We do have one request to delete the library project. We received word today in consultation with the library that they would like us to pause on that for a moment. And so we would amend the agenda and eliminate information and discussion item C.
Okay. Terrific. We will eliminate that this evening. So can I have a motion to approve the budget, or to approve the
Agenda
budget?
as amended.
Agenda as amended.
I move that we approve tonight's agenda as amended. Support.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Smith and supported by Mr. Cook. I will call the question. All those in favor of approving the amended agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
I keep wanting to say budget because budget. So thank you. The motion carries 7-0. The first item on our agenda is awards, recognitions, and presentations. Dr. Matthews.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy.
Am I right about that?
Yes, you are.
Oh.
The Novi Community School District was notified by the Michigan Association of School Boards that two of our board members were recognized at the June 19th, 2009 Oakland County School Board Association and MASB Awards Ceremony. Mrs. Kathy Hood received the MASB Level 1 certification, and Mrs. Bobby Murphy received the OCSBA Apple Award. And tonight we would like to take the opportunity to express our deep appreciation and acknowledge their work and dedication as board members, and we continue to share their vision and voice about the future of Novi's children in their roles as board members, community members, and dedicated volunteers. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was a nice evening. We had several board members there. And I found out what the Apple Award is for.
Well, that's good.
It's for 12 years of service.
Okay.
So now I know how many years I've been on the board, which qualifies me as old officially. Next is our report to the board. Dr. Matthews.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Tonight we are excited because our first Robotics Frog Force coordinator and some of the team members would like to summarize the wonderful experience that the team had this school year and recognize all of the sponsors who supported them through their competition. So we would invite them to the podium to introduce themselves and to give us their presentation.
Thank you, thank you. Again, my name is Janet Bloom, one of the mentors on the team for Frog Force at the Novi High School. And just wanted to take this moment to say thank you to the school board and to our sponsors who have supported our team for, we were just talking, over 20 years that we have been active within the community. So again, I want to turn it over to our students, and if you can introduce yourselves and let them know what grade you're in, the position on the team, and I'll let you take it from here. Thank you.
Ms. Holly, is that mic on? Just making sure.
Okay.
Why don't you tap the mic just to see? No.
Hi, I'm Karthik Rao. I'm the team president for Frog Force 503.
Hi, my name is Ann George. I'm currently a graduating senior, and I was the team outgoing vice president.
Hi, I'm Ankit. I just finished my junior year on the team, and I'm the programming group lead for Frog Force.
Hi, my name is Joshua Huang. I just finished my sophomore, my 10th grade year, and I am the programming co-lead.
Hi, my name's Arnav Lukter, and I'm just graduated. I was a senior, and I was the sponsor relations group lead.
Hi, I'm Arsenio Linux. I just graduated 9th grade, and I'm the electrical group lead.
Hello, my name is Aditya Narayan, and I'm currently a graduating junior on Frog Force 503.
Hi, I'm Ollie. I just finished sophomore year and I'm part of Drivetrain.
And I just forgot to mention that I'm a outgoing junior, senior year.
It is confusing this time of year, where you fall, so thank you.
Yeah. So basically, thank you for having us. We're here today to basically explain, what we do, how we do it, and how our season went. So Frog Force competes in FIRST Robotics. Well, what is FIRST Robotics? Well, FIRST Robotics stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology. This is an international robotics competition. If you went to the World Championships, you'd see teams from the Mideast, Europe, and even teams from all over the world. And it's not just for high schoolers. FIRST has many levels. So FIRST Robotics competition is for 9th and 12th graders. FIRST Tech Challenge is for middle schoolers. FIRST LEGO League is for upper elementary, and FIRST LEGO League Junior is for elementary.
So here's actually FIRST organization's mission statement. So it says, FIRST mission is to inspire young people to be science and technology leaders and to foster well-rounded life capabilities, including self-confidence, communication, and leadership. So just a few facts about the FIRST organization. So this past season, the 2018-2019 season, there were over 615,000 students engaged in the FIRST program, and over 500 Michigan FRC teams existed out of the 3,790 total teams worldwide. And just to give you a span of the FIRST program, it spans across 90 plus countries. There are 2 world championships that occur, one in Houston and one in Detroit, and it's actually the second year that the world championship has occurred.
So a little bit about our team. Our team started all the way back in 2001, and we currently have over 130 members. And in fact, 59% of our student leadership is actually female, so we're really making that 50-50 goal. So over all of our years as a team, we've had quite a few accomplishments that we've listed on the screen. Some of the most notable ones are, out of our 19 years, we've qualified for the World Championship 18 times. We have the world record for Regional Chairman's Awards, and the Chairman's Award is the most prestigious award given to a FIRST team, and we have the world record for it, which is 11 Regional Chairman's Awards. This year alone, some of our quick highlights for successes: we won the Chairman's Award at a district competition and the Michigan State Championship. We also won our Autonomous Award for our programming, which is at the beginning portion of our matches each time. We also won Engineering Inspiration for our work in the community. And we also have a Dean's List finalist, which is the most prestigious award given to a single student, but for our one of our team members, Ankit Udupa, who is with us right now.
So this graph up here just models our growth throughout the last 19 years we've been as a team. So our first year, 2001, we only had about 30 students on the team, but now after 19 years, here in 2019, we have about 130 students on the team.
So our team runs it's like a business. Our team's divided into 2 distinct groups: the build groups and the business groups. The build groups consist of the chassis, drivetrain, electrical, pneumatics, programming, and game system design. The business groups consist of the marketing, finance, sponsor relations, multimedia, and outreach. This division of groups allows the work to be split up evenly so that the season runs smoothly. How are teams managed? So our teams managed through elected leaders that we elect at the end of each season. We also appoint group leads for the individual groups like I mentioned before. These students are assigned to these groups based on interest. So now these groups are assigned without interest taken into account. We also hold year-round weekly meetings. Also, on top of that, we have year-round weekly steering committee meetings to govern the team?
So to actually develop each of our groups, because we have new students who come onto the team each year, we have to be able to train them effectively so that they're able to contribute during the build season. So each one of our groups has specialized training programs for these students. So anyone joining our team could get trained in a wide variety of different skills, from learning how to program in Java to learning presentation skills.
So to start off the season, we actually hold an event that's called the Kickoff. So essentially what that is just the reveal of the game, or just the challenge that a robot will have to accomplish. So to do the kickoff, we use the Novi facilities, actually the Novi High School, and this year is held on January 5th. And immediately after that, we break into the team game analysis, where we basically analyze the game's components and essentially think of a robot that will be able to complete all those different tasks. So to do that, we have this thing called FrogForce function deployment, where we use the Novi facilities once again at the Civic Center on January 6th to gather the entire team's input on robot functions. So then after that, we break off directly into the build season, which lasts 6 weeks, where all the different subgroups that we just talked about meet for 6 days a week.
6 days.
Yeah, so just a little bit about, after 6 weeks of build season, our final product is our robot. And so on the screen you can see our robot pictured. This is actually a CAD model. We designed our robot on the computer before we actually build it. And this is us working on our robot, and this is our robot in action. So we designed our robot with all centered around an arm design, where we're essentially able to manipulate both different scoring elements of the game in one arm, and we're able to actually score from both sides of our robot through this mechanism. And up next, we have a quick recap video of our season where you'll be able to see our robot in action. another really important thing to our team is actually sustaining it. So we've had a history of almost 20 years now. And so it's really important that we engage with the younger students in our community in order so that they are prepared to join our team. And so in order to do this, we support programs at the middle school, upper elementary, and elementary school levels by hosting a middle school robotics qualifier and mentoring teams from FLL Junior through FRC, and by helping to start all of these teams.
So one of the ways we do this is through our organization called NBOT, Novi Robotics. So to get more people in our community involved with Novi Robotics, we host an annual community robotics information night at the Novi Middle School, and we basically show the community what FIRST is and how they can get involved and how they can start a team. And we do this for over 200 attendees. Through Novi Robotics, we also act as the liaison between other teams and NEF, so that way these teams can apply for grants. So we provide financial resources for these teams, and we provide loan build kits as needed. So no matter if you're a rookie team or a veteran team, you can always hit the ground running for the season and have a great time. So besides supporting robotics in our own community, we really try to do a lot of community outreach so that way we can get more people everywhere involved with FIRST Robotics. So we do a lot of community demonstrations, not only in Novi, like we participate in the Memorial Day Parade in Novi, the Homecoming Parade, we bring our robot to football games. So it's a really, it's a good big crowd pleaser at Novi, but we also go to other communities so that way we can spread the message of FIRST. We do a lot of volunteer work. One of our biggest projects that we've been working on is a lot of our work in Detroit. So we actually have started 3 separate robotics programs at 3 with 3 organizations. So at Say Detroit Play, it's a community center located in one of the most dangerous parts of Detroit, and we started a robotics program with 3 elementary school teams and 2 middle school teams, and we mentor them every single week, and we can really see the progress because this year their middle school team actually advanced to the Michigan State Championship. At the DHDC, which is the Detroit Hispanic Development Corporation, we started another robotics program there where it only originally started with 2 high school teams, but since then has expanded through our assistance to 10 high school teams and then 7 and 8 middle school and elementary school teams. And so we've actually started a whole community over there, so that's really cool. And our most recent project is the Detroit Police Athletic League, so we're partnering with them so that way we can actually get inside the Detroit Public School District and start teams there. And through this partnership, we were introduced to 32 different schools, and through that partnership, we actually started all within a year, 20 FLL and 20 middle school and 20 elementary school teams. So just in that area alone. So we can really see all the progress that we're making in Detroit and the growth that we're getting there. So just a few facts about our team, like by the numbers. So from 2010 to 2019, we have mentored 795 teams and devoted 8,926 hours to mentoring. From 2015 to 2019, we have volunteered and participated at 380 different events and dedicated over 25,000 hours to volunteering. And just from 2016 to 2019, so just in a 3-year period, we started 99 different teams. So that's 99 other teams that are getting the same opportunity we have.
So outside of all of that, FrogForce also works with Enable. So Enable is a nonprofit organization that 3D prints prosthetic hands and gives them to kids all over the world, those who can't afford them. And we are one of 3 chapters in Michigan, Enable chapters in Michigan. But we are the only chapter in Michigan that is student-led. And so basically what we did was last year, we partnered with all the Novi elementary schools, and basically we used our 3D printers to 3D print these prosthetic hands. And with the 4th graders, FrogForce and the 4th graders would help assemble these prosthetic hands. Now for this year, we're going to work on shipping these 200 prosthetic hands all over the world, and then also start working on goals for what we're going to be doing and accomplishing in the future.
So, how's our team supported? Our team is supported through financial assistance, build and business mentors we get from our sponsors. We also receive engineering services from our sponsors, as well as workspace, storage space, tools to make our robot parts, and our sponsors also invited to volunteer and attend our events.
So if you look, this is our expense budget. So if you can see, a lot of our money, a lot of the expenses was through the 2 robots that we assembled. One was for practice, one was for competition. If you notice, each specific component or group of our team has an allocated budget, which they use to purchase the parts and then build and assemble so that we can have a successful season and an amazing robot. And then the second slide is the sponsor revenue that we collected. If you notice, we were in deficit, and we are trying to work and solve this problem so that in the future this won't happen again.
So a few of the benefits of sponsorship include the sponsor's logo on our robot as well as the logo on our t-shirt. Our sponsors are also recognized on our team website, and they receive a monthly newsletter as well as social media recognition and recognition on the Fit Banner and invitations for annual sponsor open house and opportunities for on-site visits from the team and an invitation to our annual banquet and invitations to the competitions and volunteer invites. And all of our sponsors get an end of the year sponsor thank you photo. And at this time, we'd like to thank all our sponsors, Magna, NGK, Ford, Denso, Nissan, Autodesk, and Novi Community School District, Tire Technologies, Panasonic, A123, Bosch, and Esco Pneumatics. And if you could also have Mr. Browner from Magna, please come up and receive this report from the student.
Thank you, everyone. If I could just perhaps take a moment to first thank you. My name is Günther Breuner. I'm with Magna, seating here in Novi. I've been with Magna for 30 years. I'm Director of Engineering at the facility. I was one of the original people that started with this team in 2001. It was probably a little less gray up here back then. And I'd just like to say, from a Magna perspective, we're really proud to be part of this team and to be part of this team for the last 19 years. And we're not only proud of all the hardware that brought home over all those years, whether those are championship awards, chairman's awards, and what have you. We are very excited about the impact that they have to the community, to the community outreach programs that we have just witnessed a lot of, as well as through engaging and fostering all those additional first LEGO leagues, first tech leagues, other first robotics teams to join and to spread first and essentially to grow the impact that those young people will have on our community going forward. Us as Magna in a highly competitive marketplace, we know the importance of STEM, and it's ever going to be a growing importance of STEM. And we believe that First Robotics provides a great platform to build and fill the talent pipeline for people that we are going to be looking at and we're going to be needing in the future. And I think those students are prime examples for that. One other point I'd like to make is that team has represented the Magna seating, Magna, other sponsors, the Novi School District over the past 19 years, and at every one of the functions they've represented those entities, they've always represented them in an exemplary fashion. There's not been a single issue. So we're very proud of being part of this team. Thank you very much, and good luck for the next season.
And that's a tough act to follow. But, so, anyways, what we're trying to say is, and I think I speak for all of us at Frog Force, is so thank you to all our sponsors. Without you guys, none of this could be possible. We wouldn't have a team. We wouldn't have a robot. And we would like to open the floor for any questions that you may have.
Mrs. Hood.
Hi, I have a couple questions. You, in your presentation, you said that there are 500 teams in Michigan. And is Novi one team? Okay, and that you started 99 you helped start 99 others, is that right?
There are 500 FRC teams in Michigan, so that's just one of the levels. There's 4 different age groups that it can be a part of. Okay. So we started, there's 500 in Michigan. I think Michigan has the second most in the entire world. I think we're right up there next to Texas. We're one of the most competitive areas for robotics. In fact, like if you go to the Michigan State Championship, you're at a harder level of playing than you are at the World Championship. That's just how good Michigan is at building robots. And then as for the 99 teams that we started 99 among FLL, FTC, and EFR. So all 4 levels.
Okay, you said that. And then one other thing, if I can. I think it was either Mrs. Bloom or Mrs. Moore at a previous meeting had explained to me what the Chairman's Award is. Can you give us a little 3 sentence blurb on what it means to win that award?
So I'm actually one of the chairman's presenters. So there's 3 presenters that our team selects to go basically represent our team and in the judging room. And you go in there, you have 10 minutes, and you have to just say everything ever about your team, like essentially. And you have to impress them because they only get to choose one winner at every single competition. So we actually won the chairman's award at our first district event. And what the chairman's award is it's the most prestigious award you could get as a first team. It basically represents, it's saying that you as a team are representing your community and you're doing everything you can to embody First Mission. So like First Mission is to spread FIRST and STEM everywhere and as much as you can, like as deep as you can, it just involves, it's a lot of work to be a chairman's team because you can't it's not only building a robot. There's no off season for chairman's teams. You're always doing something. So we were awarded that at our district competition, and so we advanced to the state competition along with our robot, and we got to present at the state competition as well, where we won it there. So we were one of 5 teams among, I think, 60 or something that were competing there. So it's a huge honor to have this award, especially for being such a competitive team. I think we're pretty up there, and they have these threads of predictions of who's gonna win next, and we're always on the top 3. So it's always it's good to see that we are recognized for all of our hard work, but we also really do it because we believe that FIRST is a program that everyone should be a part of. I think I can safely say for every single person on this team, there's one way or another that FIRST has impacted our lives, whether it be a career change or just learning presentation skills or learning how to use a drill for the first time. In one way or another, FIRST has impacted our team.
Fantastic. Other questions? Comments? Well, we thank you for being here. It was good for me to hear that the representation of women among the first, because tonight, we're the token one. So yeah, that's really good to hear that there's a big push to involve women and girls in that as well. So thank you for being here and for sharing so concisely all the information. Certainly, it's a fantastic thing, and we do thank the sponsors as well because those partnerships that you guys build and that our district has as a result of that are something that we really value as a board and as a district as well. So thank you again for being here. You are a familiar face, and we hope to keep seeing you, gray or not, for years to come, because it is a great partnership. And we thank you for representing not just our school district, but the FIRST Robotics, and for spreading that to the less fortunate kids, because we're about equity here, right? And we talk about that a lot at this table. So thanks again for being here. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
And whoever did your video did a fantastic job. So we'll give them a big kudos. I don't know if they're here tonight. All right, we'll move on. We have our first opportunity now for comments from the audience related to agenda items. This will be the first opportunity for anyone to comment on our agenda items. I see everyone making a mad dash for the door, not the podium. So without wasting too much time waiting for someone else to peek in, we will move on to our consent items. I would first entertain a motion. We just have 2 items on our consent items this evening, approval of minutes and approval of bills. Can I have a motion, please? Mrs. Hood.
I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education approve the consent items as presented.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved by Mrs. Hood and supported by Mr. Mena. I will call the question. These are not items that require any particular discussion. So all those in favor of accepting consent items as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Motion carries 7-0. Next are our action items. For this, I turn to you, Dr. Matthews, our personnel report.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy, and I will turn to Dr. Kinzer for a rather robust personnel report.
Thank you, Dr. Matthews. This evening we have 18 new hires, as well as a resignation and a retirement. First, our new hires. Alexandra Archibald, first grade teacher at Parkview. Brittany Belsky, 4th grade teacher, Village Oaks. Robert Belts, ESL teacher, Orchard Hills. Natalie Capatina, 2nd grade teacher, Parkview. Martina Carroll, ESL teacher, Village Oaks. Jamie Christen, 3rd grade teacher at Orchard Hills. Rachel Culbert, 1st grade teacher at Village Oaks. Matthew Dyroth, band teacher and director at Novi High School. Stephanie Geis, math interventionist. Samantha Hubler, ESL teacher at the high school. Amber Loney, kindergarten teacher at Orchard Hills. Daniel Mims, 2nd grade teacher at Novi Woods. Olivia Oquist, 4th grade teacher at Parkview. Gwen Osborne, 3rd grade teacher at Parkview. Lindsay Ratke, 5th grade teacher at Novi Meadows. Carly Taub, 4th grade teacher at Parkview. Amanda Trinka, 5th grade teacher at Novi Meadows, and Lindsay Westra, 6th grade teacher at Novi Meadows. Our resignation is Amanda Bailey, special education teacher at Village Oaks, and a retirement, Jane Weberman, special ed parapro at Deerfield.
All right, well, first I would entertain a motion. Mr. Cook?
I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education adopts the personnel report recommendations as presented.
I'll support. Thank you, Mrs. Rhodey. It's been moved by Mr. Cook and supported by Mrs. Rhodey. I don't know if there's a lot of discussion on this. I know yes, Mr. Dunham.
Comments, Dr. Kinzer, obviously 18 hires takes a lot of work. So I'm sure it wasn't all you. I'm sure you had a lot of help on this. So thank you, and thank all the folks behind the scenes that helped you get this done. I know, again, it's a lot of work. Also want to point out, obviously we hired a new band director, and there seemed to be tons and tons of interest. I can't tell you how many times I was approached to get updates on what was going on there. We've got a whole bunch of band parents out there very excited about getting moving on this. And so I want to thank you for the hard work you did on all these hires, on our new band director hire, but also I do understand that you did reach out to some key stakeholders in that particular hire, and I think that was very wise, and I thank you for that as well.
Thank you. I would like to take this opportunity, if I may, to recognize the hard work of our administrators. Our building principals and directors really are invested in our hiring process, and it is a robust, time-consuming process, but it results in really strong hires. So I believe in the process. I appreciate our administrators who also believe in it and participate, and then also our HR staff, Kathy Donovan, Jackie Abraham, for all the hard work they put in making this happen too. So it was an enormous investment of time, but I feel very, very strongly that we've got some outstanding new additions to our school district.
Okay. Mr. Cook?
As Dr. Kinzer heard before, you did have a very supportive student on one of the hires. So, but the other thing is, I have heard from some of the administrators that yes, it is a very long and painstaking process, and they're wondering if there are ways that we could streamline it a little, not less, keep it robust, but streamline it, maybe in the referral area and stuff like that. So, I guess I'd put it to you to see if we can streamline it a little bit and not make it so painful on some of the steps.
Thank you.
I did hear from a teacher and where the band director's coming from. They have a lot of sad people there that he is leaving. My understanding is it was not a pretty board meeting when they approved his resignation. But either way, it sounds like you guys did a great job to get a good catch with that. And certainly hearing that we have this process that is used that is vetting really good, strong candidates, and we hope they stay with us for a long time, unlike whatever the average length of a teacher in a stay is right now. We really hope that they stay with us for a long time. So if there aren't any other comments or questions, I will call the question. All those in favor of accepting personnel report as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Can I safely assume this is probably the longest one we will have?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
We're not finished, but
Right.
there will be nothing like this
Okay,
again.
that's what I thought. Okay.
Who do we get on support on that last one?
Mr.
70.
Roney.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Mrs. Roney.
I missed that one. Thank you.
I apologize. Okay. Moving on to our administrative contracts. Dr. Matthews.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. The administrative contracts of the listed administrators expire on June 30th, 2020. Based on their evaluations and their job performance, it is recommended that the superintendent be authorized to extend the following administrative contracts through June 30th of 2021. And you will see the list of administrators there. Changes in salary will be finalized after the state budget is determined. So we would appreciate if the board would support extending those contracts by 1 year.
Are we voting on that whole section B? No, they're all listed under administrative contract renewals, both administrative.
We're starting with the administrative contract renewals of the
Okay, so we're doing
Yeah.
those all separately.
All separately.
Okay.
Yep.
So I would entertain a motion for the first group of administrative contract renewals. Mrs. Hood.
I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education authorize the superintendent to renew the contracts of all listed administrators as noted.
I'll support. It's been moved by Mrs. Hood and supported by Mrs. Roney. Is there any comments or questions on this particular one? I know we had it on the agenda last week for discussion, so I will call the question. All those in favor of accepting the contract renewals as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next is our second set, which is our
Assistant Superintendent contract renewals. Based on their evaluations and their job performance, it recommended that the superintendent be authorized to extend the following administrative contracts through June 30, 2021 for Dr. Weber, Ms. Minnick, and Dr. Kinzer. And again, changes in salary will be finalized after the state budget is determined.
All right, I would entertain a motion. This is Dr. Ruskin.
I will make a motion that the Novi Community School District Board of Education authorize the superintendent to renew the contracts of all listed administrators as noted.
Support.
It's been moved by Dr. Ruskin and supported by Mr. Smith. Without further questions, I will call the question. All those in favor of accepting the assistant superintendent contract renewals as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next is a director changes. Dr. Matthews.
Correct. With recent retirements, there's an opportunity to restructure our administrative personnel based on the needs of the district and the responsibilities of the administrative staff. The following administrators will have new roles and responsibilities. It is recommended that the superintendent be authorized to extend the following administrative contracts through June 30th, 2021. Ann Hansen will become the Director of Early Childhood Education and Community Programs. Linda Chianferro will become the Director of Adult and Alternative Education. Darby Hoppenstadt will become the Director of Student Support Services, and Jeff Dinkelman will have expanded responsibilities as the Director of Student Growth and Accountability.
All right. Entertain a motion. Mrs. Hood? Oh, or Dr. Ruskin, sorry.
You want to fight on that? That the Novi Community School District Board of Education authorize superintendent to enter into contracts for all listed administrators as noted.
I'll support. Thank you. It's been moved by Dr. Ruskin, supported by Mrs. Roney. Without further ado, I will call the question. All those in favor of accepting the administrative contract changes to these director positions, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. These were discussed and vetted through a board process. And next is the superintendent contract renewal. Dr. Matthews.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. The current contract between the Novi Community School District Board of Education and myself was extended in June 2017 for the years 2017-18, 18-19, and 19-20. The current contract between the district and me states that the board, at its sole discretion, will vote whether to extend the contract for an additional 2 years during the second year of the contract. With 2018-19 being the second year of the contract, this comes to the Novi Community School District Board of Education for consideration this evening. Based on conversations with the board committee and the superintendent, this provision will be postponed until the completion and approval of Dr. Matthews' evaluation for the 2018-19 school year, but no later than the first board meeting in September. Any contract modifications and extensions will be effective beginning with the 2019-20 school year. Extension and modification of the contract will be considered by the board no later than the first board meeting in September.
All right. Thank you. I would entertain a motion. Mr. Cook.
I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education agree to postpone consideration of the superintendent's contract extension and modifications until evaluation of the 2018-2019 school year is complete, but no later than the first board meeting in September of 2019.
I would just like to clarify the rationale behind this is not disapproval, but rather the fact that we have a timing glitch with the renewal and the evaluation cycle. So we're trying to correct that. So going forward, we won't have this issue coming up where we're renewing before we do an evaluation, which kind of makes sense because all of our superintendents, I know you were busy completing your evaluations, but those aren't all complete and ours is not complete. So that is a rationale behind that. So just for clarification purposes. So if there aren't any additional
Support anybody?
Pardon?
I support.
Oh, I apologize.
It's okay.
Thank you.
We
It was
got
moved
ya.
by Mr. Cook, supported by Mrs. Hood. I appreciate that.
No.
All right, I will call the question. All those in favor?
Comment?
Oh, yes.
So I'm really not sure why we're taking a vote on this, but, I mean, I'll go ahead and agree to go do this. I think this is something, I'm assuming that this is something that Dr. Matthews is agreeing to. He has to agree to this unilaterally. I think we're just stamping that we understand that he has agreed to let us move forward and delay this a little bit further than how it's specified in his contract.
Exactly.
Okay?
Correct.
All right. Okay.
So we got a head nod, which is,
Yes.
anyway, okay.
Yes, that is correct. So it's been moved by Mr. Cook and supported by Mrs. Hood, so I will call the question. All those in favor of the recommendation, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we are moving into our final budget for the 2018-19 school year. Dr. Matthews.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. On April 11th, 2019, the Board of Education adopted the First Amendment to the 2018-19 General Fund budget. A final amendment to the budget reflecting all the changes known at this time has been developed and was presented to the Board of Education at its last regular meeting on June 6th for information and discussion. The board has had opportunity to review that and discuss it. It's been discussed with the Finance Committee as well. So tonight, the final budget amendment is recommended for approval per the attached resolutions at tonight's board meeting. So we would ask for approval of this tonight.
All right, I would entertain a motion. Mrs. Hood?
I move that the 2018-2019 final budget amendment as presented be approved by the Novi Community School District Board of Education per the attached resolution.
All right.
Support.
It's been moved by Mrs. Hood and supported by Mr. Cook. I know we've had a lot of discussion around this at several meetings, so I don't know that unless there's somebody that has a burning question, I will call the question. All those in favor of accepting the final budget amendment as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next is our preliminary budget for the 1920 school year. Dr. Matthews.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. I would like to point out that the preliminary budget lacks one critical piece of information, which is the state budget. But that being said, the state does require that all school districts adopt a budget for the upcoming fiscal year by June 30th of each year. And the proposed budget document for the 1920 fiscal year has been prepared based on projections and estimates, including student enrollment, which will be known at a later date. And as you can see, we have discussed this with the board at the last board meeting. Ms. Minnick presented the proposed budget. The budget adoption process has some very specific guidelines that we have to follow, which we have followed, including the public hearing tonight, including notice in the local newspaper. Once the public budget hearing has taken place, the board can adopt the budget. So the proposed budget document was presented to the board for review at its June 6th, 2019 regular meeting. And the board has had an opportunity to ask questions, and it is recommended for adoption in the form of a 2019-20 General Appropriations Act resolution at tonight's board meeting.
All right, I would entertain a motion. Mr. Cook?
I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education approves the adoption in the form of a 2019-20 General Appropriations Act resolution as presented.
Support.
It's been moved by Mr. Cook and supported by Mr. Mena. We have had a lot of discussion on this. Anybody additional comments? No? Okay, seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor of adopting the preliminary budget as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next is a wage reopener agreement. Dr. Matthews.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. The Novi Educational Support Personnel Association, NESPA, and the Novi Transportation Association, NTA, had wage reopeners for the 2019-2020 school year. Per the discussions that we've had with the board and per the parameters that the board has established, a tentative agreement on the wage reopener was reached with NESPA and NTA. The agreement calls for advancement on steps for all members still qualifying for the step increase, and a 1.5% increase for members not qualifying for the step increase. If you have additional questions, Dr. Kinzer is available for discussion, and I would like to extend my appreciation to Dr. Kinzer and Ms. Minnick for their negotiation with these two groups and bringing this to successful resolution in time for us to get this approved before their contract expires and the wage reopener piece at least expires and their new contract starts on July 1.
Okay. I would entertain a motion first. Mrs. Roney?
That the Novi Community School District Board of Education approve the wage reopeners negotiated with NESPA and NTA.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved by Mrs. Rooney and supported by Mr. Cook.
It is to be noted that both NESPA and NTA have ratified this agreement.
Okay, thank you. Comments?
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor?
Not a super important one, but this might be the first time in a good 20 years maybe that we won't have any abstentions on this particular vote, because we've always had somebody on the board married to somebody in one of these positions.
correct.
so.
That is true. Seeing none? I will say, this is already built into the budget that we just approved, correct? Yes, it is. Okay, thank you. All right, well, without further comments or questions, I will call the question. All those in favor of accepting the wage reopening and negotiating with NESPA and NTA, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next are Board Operating Procedure Manual revisions. We have a couple of revisions. One is about our ID access badges. Now, hopefully, some of you have had a chance to look that over.
It's rather long and involved, I might add, but we think it kind of covers the board's desire to have badge access, and also the district's desire to continue to have secure buildings. And so, as you read through that, you've had this opportunity to read through it this week, but if other questions come up in the next week, this is for information and discussion only tonight, and it would come back to the board at a later time for approval.
So are there questions that the board has about this? I know Mr. Kinzer has assured me that this is very similar, what the requirement is to get the badge is very similar to what is required of everybody else who has ID badge access. So it does give us access to any door in any building at any time, correct? Well, obviously, if the alarm is on, it might present
The
a
alarm is
problem.
on that, we're not giving you alarm codes.
Yes, well, that's fine, but come on. So, questions or concerns or comments?
Are any of the other card members asked to pay for their cards?
Yes, everybody is.
Really?
Everybody has to get background checked, and everybody pays that individually.
Before they are hired, before they come on board?
Again?
Certainly.
So we didn't really get to discuss this in our policy committee meeting, so we...
Well, we discussed it initially, but...
not the language as is.
Not the details.
I certainly support anything that would be similar to what we would expect from any other employee. I'm having a little trouble understanding why a board member would need to be escorted by an administrator just because they're in the building at during school hours. I think that some of this stuff needs to be vetted still a little bit more.
If if it's the pleasure of the board, this could be referred to the committee for further vetting. But on that particular issue, the idea is that we don't allow members of the community to. They have to have a specific purpose, specific reason, specific destination when they come to a building, and so that's why that's included here in a similar vein. If the board member comes to an event, they certainly don't have to be escorted by the principal, but we don't believe just kind of traversing the hallways without a specific destination is the appropriate way for a board member to visit a building.
The other question I have, was there a particular issue, incident that precipitated this change in the beginning?
I think it was, the particular issue was that it was unevenly applied to board members. In other words, some board members were given access when they became board members, and other board members, for whatever reason, were not. And so this is an attempt to kind of standardize the process so that everybody knows what the process is. Is that accurate, Ms. Murphy?
Well, it's partly accurate. I mean, I was also at an event or at a legal workshop. They said board members should never have access. And then did hear a concern from an administrative staff, which I think has also been voiced to administration, that there were times that board members were in the buildings that they weren't even aware they were there. So that certainly raised some concerns. So there have been a couple of things that have kind of made us relook at and say, well, what is our policy? I asked the question initially, what is the policy about issuing badges? Is there a protocol
And we did not have a
around that,
standard.
which really wasn't applied to board members. It was applied to everyone but us. So it was really going back and correcting something that was an oversight initially when we went to, I think when we went to the badge system, the swipe-in system, because I was here before the swipe-in system.
Since you're an Apple Award
Right,
winner.
since I'm an Apple Award winner.
So if the offer is being made to potentially send this back to committee to have it vetted, I would certainly support that.
Is that,
Especially given the time of the year now, I don't think there's really any urgency to get this thing passed now before September.
I think that some of the board members would like this put to bed, I think, before the start of the next school year. So as long as we can, is that accurate?
It would be nice, because then you could get fingerprinted and we could have our badge come day one, you know.
Fingerprinting takes how long, Dr. Kinzer?
Not long at all, a couple days at the
Okay.
most.
But then we have to wait for a letter, right? Red
So
light, green light?
We would, there are ways to get, you can go to a center, get the fingerprinting done, and we can have results within, 48 hours.
Okay. Are there other concerns that the board has that they'd like this to go back to committee as they've read through this? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'd like to see it go back to committee. I kind of agree with not allowing open access into the classroom, but being escorted throughout the building if you're there to maybe check on something, or like having to have an escort, I'm not sure about.
Okay, well, maybe we can discuss that. You can explain the rationale behind that a little better to committee so that we understand that in a way that either makes sense or we can adjust it accordingly, yes.
So if there's no objection to the background check, then we could still go ahead and move forward with starting to do that.
so correct.
So that there is no delay, if that's important, but then we can just kind of button up some of these other issues.
We could make a point to get together this summer with board governance, and then if there's other issues, Mrs. Holly, I'll look at you, if there's other issues that we have to discuss, whether it's to do to policy, we can do it at that time before the school year starts, perhaps. Okay, the second, yes, I'm sorry.
I don't know who to direct this to. It's kind of an offshoot, but isn't this badge, wouldn't it be a requirement for teachers to have that to get in and out of their buildings?
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess I'm really surprised. So these 18 new teachers we're hiring, we hire them, but then we charge them to get their badges?
So
That doesn't
we
seem-
don't. We're not charging for the badges. We're charging for the finger. There's cost involved with being printed, and it's a legal requirement before a teacher can be hired. So a teacher who's already employed in another district, they don't have to be reprinted. Those prints are sent to us from that district, but they have to be fingerprinted before they can teach in the state. So the badge, we don't charge for that. However, we do have a charge if employees lose badges. Don't lose your badge.
I can understand.
Is that answering your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
One last quick thing is, and this, I relate this back to industry also. Whenever you enter a building, it's always common courtesy, and it's a safety thing to check in at the office. If there is an emergency, at least they know you're there.
Right.
Okay?
That is the key.
Whether, it's a fire drill even, they know that, hey, that person came into the building, we know they came out. It's just a common courtesy and a safety issue. So I, encourage all my other fellow board members to, first place to stop is always the office.
I would concur.
Okay, so the only real concern I heard voiced was I just want to get this clear for our committee, is being escorted by the administrator, that might be something we want to review.
And if you review this, the policy or the operating procedure as written, and other things come up, please be sure to either contact Ms. Holly or myself, and we'll make sure that's part of the committee
Agenda.
conversation.
Okay.
So again, just to clarify, so anybody who doesn't have a background check currently has to pay, any employee in the district, any coaches, anybody who has access to the building, everybody has to get a background check, and every person is responsible for paying for their own background check. True or false?
I believe that's correct.
Yep, that's true.
I know the edu staff,
They pay.
you have to pay, because my daughter was the JV field hockey coach, and
Correct.
she had to do that before.
So a lot of our coaches are employed through EduStaff, and in order to be employed by EduStaff, they have to be fingerprinted, and they pay the cost.
But parent volunteers are not fingerprinted?
Correct.
They are not charged for the background check?
Correct.
They are just given the
They don't have
state.
badges.
They don't have badges,
Right.
so.
Okay, we'll move on to the second revision. This was a glitch because it's about the videotaping of our meetings. It wasn't included in, basically, Neola had not updated the website version that we used, that Kevin was using when we moved into this. So that's why that was left off. So basically, we have adjusted that language and we'll be including it under 100, for section 1002, under the Board of Education. So, in our board operating procedures.
That's our
Right.
current process, and so now we're just
Right.
memorializing it in the procedure.
Right, so we just changed it to taped meetings to videotaped, and then the extent of work sessions audio taped and archived. Anybody see any concerns about that? Yes?
Do we want to mention that we're archiving the video, the regular meetings too? Rather than just having them available on the website?
Will be
They
live
are
streamed and appear
archived.
on Novi Community School
Yeah.
District.
So live streamed and archived and appear on the Novi. It would have to sort of,
They're going to appear on the Novi website for a certain period of time until they're bumped off, but they are also archived after that.
probably at archived
Okay,
after live streamed.
we can add that. And then that'll come back next week for it's just consensus, so.
Not next week.
Next week, sorry, not
Next
next
time.
week, next time. Okay, next we're moving on to the new bus purchase.
Thank you. This is Ms. Minix, and so I will turn to her.
Thank you, Dr. Matthews. In review of the district's bus fleet, it has been determined that due to condition, age, and mileage, 4 regular passenger buses should be removed from the fleet and replaced. The mileage on these buses range from 85,895 to 98,059 miles. With this proposed purchase of buses, our total fleet will consist of 33 regular passenger buses and 6 special lift equipped buses. The average age of the fleet will decrease from 4.3 years to 3.5, and the average miles per bus will decrease from 64,237 to 54,796. Utilizing the statewide public bid known as the Michigan Bus Purchasing Program, as received by the Michigan School Business officials, the cost of one passenger bus from the Holland Bus Company is $98,384, for a total cost of 4 buses of $393,536. This purchase is as scheduled in the 2014 bond program and will be paid from the capital projects funds. The bus purchases are presented tonight for information and discussion, with awarding of the bid at the July 11th board meeting.
And we bring this to the board tonight because the
The window of the bus purchasing program ends July 31st. And we'd like to have them delivered and inspected and ready to go for the start of school.
This is part of that regular rotation
Yes,
that
it
we've
is.
been doing with our buses to keep them up to date. Yes, Mr. Smith?
I know when we replaced our tractor, or whatever it is, we got some money for the old one.
Mhm.
Do we get any money for these 4 buses?
Yes, in fact, with the last go-round of bus replacement, we tried something new. We placed the buses that were for sale on a website called Public Surplus, and it's an entity that works with governmental units to sell unwanted equipment. And we fared much better than when we had auctions on site. So our transportation director is very pleased with that outcome, and we intend to use that again for these 4 buses.
Perfect, good question.
Thank you.
Thanks, good update. Mr. Hood, Mr. Cook.
Okay, so the money that we're purchasing with is coming out of the bond. Does
Yes.
the money we receive from it go back to pay off the bond, or does it go into the general fund?
If these buses are still part of the bond issue that we're paying the debt on, the money needs to go back to the debt fund.
Yeah, I know a lot of school districts would kill to have a average life on their average age of their buses at 4.3 years, and you know we're very fortunate that our community supports us in allowing us to keep such a fresh fleet.
Yes.
Is there a service fee for this website? Like, do they take a percentage or something?
Well, they add that to the cost to the buyer, but when we say we want a sale price of X, that's the sale price we would receive.
You should try Craigslist.
That's an alternative.
Great that we found an alternative and one that yields better results. Are there other questions about the bus? Okay, this will come back to us at
July 11th.
At the July 11th meeting, so before we do our board self-assessment.
There'll be probably 2 items that night. One would
Personnel
be
report.
personnel, and one would be this.
Okay, in order to get these up and running.
Correct.
So we won't have much on the agenda that day except our
That will be
self-assessment
the
and
only
those two
thing.
things. Okay. So if you do have questions in the meantime or anything else that you want to run by Jill, just get them to Dr. Matthews and he will send those her way. Next is our next opportunity for comments from the audience. It's the next opportunity to talk to the board about anything within our jurisdiction. This would be a great time to move to the podium and fill out a green card. And no takers this evening again. I guess that's a good thing,
That's a
right?
good thing.
Okay, so we will move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Matthews.
I defer my report because we have a work session tonight, so I want to give us time for that.
Okay, terrific. Mrs. Spittick, do you have anything additional?
Thank you. I just want to mention with the end of the school year, you can see that we've commenced our summer projects, including paving, carpet replacement, and some furniture deliveries, all projects that the board approved and that I'm so grateful for our community support to keep our facilities and sites in operational and safe order. I also want to express my appreciation for the flexibility of the building administrators and other staff that are still in the building for 2 more weeks, and the inconvenience of having their parking lots and hallways and such hampered by the equipment and such. And also to thank Mike Dragu and Jacob McDermott for their work in the background on facilitating these projects to happen throughout the district.
Great, thank you. And Dr. Kinzer?
Just a few gratitudes as it is our last meeting of the school year. First, congratulations to our board members for their recognition last night, and thank you to all of the board for your dedicated service. Thanks also to Dr. Matthews and cabinet members, Dr. Weber and Ms. Minnick. Honored to serve alongside them, and all 900 plus of our employees for commitment to students in this district for another great year.
This is your first full year that you
It
just
is.
completed. You've had a big year. Became a doctor, served alongside these guys, got to serve with us. Big year. Fantastic. All right, we'll move on to committee reports. We have, do we have a merit committee report?
Well, I don't have the date in front of me, but I can say that the merit committee met at the meeting here in the ESB, and we were fortunate to have members of the teachers union join us. We had 3 members of the union, along with Dr. Matthews, join President Murphy and Mr. Cook and I to discuss the current merit pay system, to discuss alternatives, and I don't know if I should put together a formal summary in writing, or if I need to, come to this board table and be prepared to present what our findings were, but I hope not.
We can talk about what.
Okay, so we'll go off on. So we did meet, and I can share with you that it was very helpful to have the support of the the teachers that gave some of their own time to sit with us for an hour and share what their peers had to say. I think collectively between the 3, there was 4. There was at least 45 to 50 years of experience, so very well represented. So thank you to those folks.
Yeah, and it's kind of a last minute invite, and it was fantastic that you got them to be there. It was good dialogue. So thank you for taking that on. We have other committee reports this evening? Okay. Well, seeing none, we will move on to board communication. We have board members at Mrs. Hood?
Everybody on the board was invited by Heather Burnside to join teachers in the group for I have my sticker here, the Red for Ed rally on Tuesday in the Capitol. And I went. There were about, I would say, a dozen people from Novi. A couple little guys came along. They were troopers. And it was a rally to encourage our legislators to restore, improve funding for public schools. I was glad in the crowd I saw several trustees from the Ann Arbor School Board who I recognize, a couple folks from Oakland County Schools. So there were other trustees, but big crowd of teachers. The governor spoke, and she also encouraged improved funding for our public schools. So it was good. It's a good day.
Great. Thanks for attending on our behalf, certainly. Other board communication? No? You've heard about our big awards ceremony last night. We did hear a lot about mindfulness, which was really encouraging. It's several districts that are really adapting that as a practice, not just for students, but really with their staff as well. So we had a presenter from Oakland University come in, and she did a nice presentation on just what mindfulness can be and some of the stats around it and how helpful it can be, for students and for others just to maintain and restore kind of good quality relationships, decisions, thinking amongst all people. So certainly had an emphasis on kids, but how it can work for everybody. I did want to mention that a little while ago, and I'll cover up the date because I forgot I got this, but Dr. Matthews, I got a note from the Michigan Association of Superintendents and Administrators, MASA, said they are pleased to announce Dr. Steve Matthews has successfully completed Year 2 Horizon Academy, a central office endorsement program offered through MASA's Horizon Leadership Academy that is approved by the Michigan Department of Education. It's a 30-hour program spread out over a 1-year period and is focused on strengthening influential leadership skills and strategies that include how do I lead, situational leadership, values and beliefs and their leadership impact, emotional intelligence, mentor coaching, fact-finding, and ed talks. And so there was a recommendation submitted to the MDE for the issuance of a central office specialty endorsement to be placed on Steve's K-12 administrator certificate. So congratulations to you on that certification on the Leadership Academy. We appreciate the work you do to perfect your craft as well.
Thank you.
So with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Support.
Moved by Mr. Smith and supported by Mr. Mena. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries 7-0. We will take 5 minutes to use the restroom. You can turn off the recording downstairs and you can cut that out.
The video,
The video.
not the audio.
The video, but